Gundam.tk presents Gundam Double X. Hey, what's up everyone? Robert184 and welcome to my review of the high-grade 1/100th Gundam Double X. The Double X is the second lead Gundam of the series Gundam X, which is a little bit strange because usually the Gundam series is named after the second lead, but in this case, Gundam X is the first lead and the name of the series, and don't forget to check out its review as well. This is a high-grade 1/100th kit that came out when the series was airing in 1996, and there has not been a master grade, so this is the best version available. The box tour shows the Double X with everything folded up, front and back, information about the suit, information about the anime, and the other 1/100th kits available, including number 4 in the series, the Versago, and number 5, which is sort of like Lead Gundam 1.5, the Gundam X Divider. The other side of the box shows the Gundam X folded up and then with the Satellite System Mark II and the twin cannons deployed. And here's what's ridiculous about this Gundam X, is it comes with more weapons than you can believe. It's got a defense plate, it's got hyper beam swords, a G-hammer, of course it's just got a buster rifle, beam javelin, a twin beam sword, and a rocket launcher. And I've got to tell you, you're probably not going to use any of them. This manual just screams mid-90s, and when you open it up, you're going to get a page of story, including some shots from the anime, and the awesome twin satellite cannon in action, which was just great. As far as plates go, you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and what's noticeable is the E plate. With the Gundam X, they were silver-plated, but here they're gold-plated, so it went from a silver medalist to a gold medalist. Big directions, very few parts, and the parts are very big, so it's not hard to put together. More poses inside, color pictures, and that ridiculous armament, and how you can attach it onto the back, and then how to put the weapons together, and how to deploy the twin satellite system. A quick overview of what you get when you put it together: feet, legs, waist, a shield, beam rifle, 2 arms, the chest, the head, of course the Satellite System Mark II, and the ridiculous amount of weapons. From the bottom up, if you've seen my review of the Gundam X, the mechanics in this Double X are almost identical to the Gundam X. Starting at the front, you've got waist armor that moves up. This is just on a polycap here, and it moves out. The legs are allowed to move out this far, they can come forward, and they can bend backwards at 90 degrees. Even though there's 2 joints, they can't come close to doing a 180. This part here is attached to the foot, which again is like the Gundam X, and unusual compared to most modern grade or master grades, and that goes up and down. Cool touch that they add yellow parts there, but what's cool about this is on the side, when you pull this up, these gold panels will reveal itself as it absorbs the power from the moon and gets ready to fire the twin satellites. I like the chest a little bit better than the Gundam X because mainly these green parts stand out and they stay on, which is a big plus. But also like the X, it has a big white sticker and that makes it bright, but that should have been plastic. On the back, even though this backpack doesn't move anywhere near as much as X's does, they give you 3 holes to hold it on, so it's a lot more solid. And 0 articulation. The arms are different from X in that on the top of the shoulders, this gray part slides up and this pops out, and you're going to pop the twin satellite cannons between there and then pinch them down into place. My only complaint is this one doesn't do it so bad, but this green clear part, which is green, you don't have to paint it, falls out all the time. Now down here the elbow has good mobility, but again it looks very flimsy and weak. The wrist, 3 fingers, 1 finger here, and like the legs, this has a part that bends out, and this part should deploy automatically. My only complaint here is that this lower part sometimes pulls out and sometimes it doesn't. So you've got to get both arms to look the same if you want it to look good. Gundam X has a very unique head, and Gundam Double X continues with that, especially with these pieces which just pop into the side and they make the face look like, wow, the titular X. Otherwise you're going to have to put in a fair bit of black lining if you want to make it stand out, and there's just very few places to put it on the yellow antenna, so you don't have to worry about it as much as you do with the X. Of course, the Satellite System Mark II is the Double X's main feature. It has twin satellite cannons that both extend down here, and they can stay in place somewhat once you click them in. Everyone watching the anime, however, was waiting to see how these unfold, and they're just on a very simple pole there. The bottom part folds out first to reveal the gold panels on the inside, and then the middle part folds down here. And if you watch the anime at the same time, these are pivoting around, and then they come over the shoulders like that. One of the pluses I thought of the Gundam X was its simplicity, where the satellite system is really its main and only weapon. In this case, you get a beam rifle, which should be white, so you're going to have to paint that to make it look good. This is not a shield, it's called a plate, but anyway, on the back it's very plain and boring. But it does have a part here where you can lock it on only to this arm, so that's an alright feature. But as for the rest of these things, outside of the beam sabers, which are good, and these, you can see here that the beam saber attaches onto the side of the skirt on both sides, but they tend to fall off a little bit, so I just don't bother to attach them. You can take the beam sabers off and plug them into this and go Darth Maul style. Usually more options are better, but I'll tell you why I don't really like these. The beam javelin looks okay, the rocket launchers, again they're all very white. If you painted them you can make them look a lot better. The hammer here detaches, you can put a cable on there and attach it. But what I don't like about them is that they come with these two stands, and basically you put all of these weapons onto these, and then you can choose which one to plug into the back of the Double X. So then all the weapons sit on there. But of course what happens, well, anybody who has an Exia knows that there's a million weapons protruding and they all want to fall off. So all they do is get in the way. Now putting together an old school Gundam takes no time whatsoever. So here it is before getting armed to the teeth. And with the satellite system on, what kind of effect are you supposed to get from that? Well, it's supposed to be an X. Now it's time for size comparisons. Here it is next to the Shining Gundam, and here it is next to the granddaddy of them all, Amuro's original. And you can really see that the alternate universes compared to the Universal Century kits are much shorter, almost a full head. Some thoughts on the Double X as it gets its spin around. The first thing you'll notice about this when it's on your shelf, especially if you have other lead Gundams, is that this is one of the only black Gundams. Really the only one that comes close to it in coloring is the new Gundam. But overall, I do think it still looks pretty good, mostly because I think the translucent green really shows off, especially with the gold. Now, not to say it looks bad armed up, although it would look better if the rifle was in multiple colors. I think that the real winner for this is of course the twin satellite system. Well, the Gundam X's transformation mostly involved with fiddling with the backpack. Here you're going to pop up the leg panels and reveal the gold inside, and pull down the arms and reveal that. To get the wings down, basically you'll move them back to get them out of the way, spin down the lower one, and then spin down the middle one for a pretty cool effect. For the twin satellite cannons, you'll twist it around in the back, bring it up over the shoulder, extend this part out, and then with the shoulder bring that up, open it up, and then bring it into place and lock it down for this kind of effect, which I have to say looks pretty awesome. Newer fans of Gundam of course will be impressed with the Double O and how ridiculously powerful it was in the series, especially with the riser. But if you watch the older series, I don't know, it's hard to say, because between the Turn A and the twin satellite system, there are some ridiculously powerful Gundams there. Some final thoughts. I have to say at the beginning I wasn't sure about the color scheme with this because it's black instead of blue, but overall I think it looks pretty cool and it goes well with the new Gundam. But what really makes me happy is the fact that they included gold plating on these parts. Because if they hadn't, if these had just been yellow or stickers or something, I think it would look pretty horrible overall. But because of that, despite the fact it's not a master grade, I can forgive it for a lot of its other flaws, just because it looks great with the twin satellite cannon in full reveal. And things like this, these little details, the fact that they move automatically, it's a very nice touch. My disappointments, other than the lack of posability of course, are the fact that in the mid-90s Bandai thought you had to line everything to make it look cool, and you really don't. And a few of the parts, like these green parts up here, do like to fall out, so you just have to hang on to that. And of course, do I really need this huge bag of weapons I'm never going to use? Well, no, but anyway, maybe some of the kids like them. But overall, it's a great kit, it looks good standing there, and when you put out the satellite mode, I don't think this can be beat. So, if you're a fan of the series of either Gundam X or the Double X, since we're years away from getting a master grade at best, I can't help but recommend this kit. So thanks for watching everybody, and I hope you check out Gundam X the anime, because even though it got cancelled early, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So stay tuned for lots more reviews, especially of lead Gundams, at www.gundam.tk. Thanks for watching everybody. Man, how do I even compete in Gundam vs. Gundam?